Hello guys, so today I'm going to be doing a review on Valkyrja Beth. I'm pretty sure I did one before, but this one is after as free, and I'm going to be mentioning the new stone, and with a few of the stone nerfs, her old build actually doesn't make that much sense. So first, who is Beth? Beth is the light center mid. Her skills have been changed a while back, so usually she only used to get DR when she was holding the ball. Now that's no longer the case, so she's much more resistant. She has a bunch of cool chains in the light section. She has a chain with Isilla, she has a chain with Duke, and she's actually pretty strong. So let's go straight into the skill level. Her active is actually one of the best actives in the game for COT and COD because she's going to recover the entire team's action bar for 30%. Now, I know it says available after 8 minutes, but after those 8 minutes, it becomes a 5-minute cooldown. This was done because before we used to be able to use the active right away, and it seems that this used to cause problems in PvP, so this was changed once again because of PvP. I honestly don't see why it was such a big problem, especially since they nerfed the amount of action bar it healed. But now in COD and COT, it's actually much cooler. Now, I haven't maxed it out, and I plan to give it another point. The problem is that it's in a reflex midline, so 7-starring her is not the first thing I'm going to do. But if I did, I really wouldn't count this as a loss. Now we have Goddess of Battle. I would say this is technically the best line buff that is possible. The thing is, it does have a time limit and it only activates with an attack. So this is why in the old days, people used to use some form of action bar recovery, some speed buffing on it, just to stack it. I'm going to say I just use it because it's there. I don't even consider it part of it. Beth will eventually try to attack, and it kind of just activates very often. I've never had an issue with it. I'd say majority of the time it's up at free stacks, giving a bonus 60% crit rate, 60% reflex in the line. But I'm going to say it usually takes 3 minutes for all free stacks to be up, so that can be a little bit annoying, and she'll attack fast enough to keep the stacks up. It's rare you have a problem. Now, another trick you can try to throw in COD and COT is make her penetrate the line and then make her penetrate the front line. By doing this, you're actually going to give this buff to the front line for 10 minutes. So especially if you lack crit or you want a little bit of bonus on reflex, it's also a really good trick. Now, this is what I'm going to say her most useful skill to me, because I love to control action bar in my team, so using this is going to increase her attack power, who's nice, but going to give action bar to all the allies in the team by 10% when she's trying to penetrate. So what's great about this is it gives just action bar to the entire team, meaning if they go back, you can attack. If they go front, you can attack before them. In all cases, it's great, and it gives attack power, who's also pretty cool. Now, I know some people decide to do a different build than me, who go 5-5-3-5. There's nothing wrong with that either. I just really like the action bar done by penetration and attack power. If you just prefer raw action bar from an active, both are good. I'm not going to say either one is better. I have my personal taste, but that's my thing. Increase attack power and decrease incoming damage. I just like that 40% decrease. The attack power is a nice little bonus, but it's a decrease we're after. Now, on a stone setup, be aware that this stone setup is wrong and will be eventually changed. The only thing that really needs to be changed is this stone. I know a lot of you are going to tell me, why the hell am I throwing a penetration stone on her? Please look at this line of the substat and you will completely understand why the stone is here. When a penetration stone basically does have a reflex stone, it's completely fine and it can stay there for life. Now, this stone is going to be changed. It was a pretty decent one, but it's over. After the nerf, I've just decided that I'm going to be throwing it away. I'm going to be doing some rolls later on. I think it's tomorrow that I'm doing the stream. It's on Friday, where I'm going to be doing some rolls for either a 1000 watch or a second SOB. So either one, she's getting one of those stones, and I'm just getting rid of this because, as you saw her skills, it's impossible for her not to crit, and just the action bar thing is just so weak. and it doesn't make sense anymore since I have Duke, and I prefer Duke holds the ball than her. So it's pretty much become useless. Now, I did throw this stone right here. It doesn't have the best stats. It's just because it gives me a 13% decrease inflicted damage. The reason I'm using the stone currently is because I was working on some COD and COT recently, and I just didn't feel like changing it back. This should actually be a reflex stone with some decreased damage, but eventually I'll stick it back. I'm still having a little bit of fun. I'm seeing if maybe I can actually beat COD 37, knowing my team and that it's a Thunder team. That's not that likely, but eventually I'll beat it. Now, what kind of build would you actually want to build for her? So you can still go to the really, really old builds. I say it negatively because it's kind of negative. It's basically going to be reflex, light crit, and Metatron's Will if you still really need those stacks or you got a really, really slow team. That is still a viable build, but I'm not running it. Now, other builds, I would say, knowing that she only has light stones, it really does limit everything you can do. Of course, as always, I'm going to tell you changing the color is useful, except in this case, there's no real reason for it. So, well, actually, if you could throw in a dark critical stone, I wouldn't be against it. Now, what you need to know about Beth is basically, considering you're not going to be rolling the colors, she can only take from these stones. So, first of all, this is useless. This doesn't make that much sense for a Bev. This is a goalkeeper stone, so she's left with these 3 stones. Now, this is completely going to be up to you. There's Thousand Watchers, who's going to increase the reflex of allies within position and is going to increase her attack power when she's attacked. Pretty cool. It could give her, on her own, she could do a 75% reflex buff when used correctly. Pretty nice. Not going to say anything different than that. I'm thinking maybe running this one. This is the good old Metatron's Will. And then we got SOB, increased receiving pass effect, no one cares. Increased critical damage with an attack, it can go up to 25%. You got to know that she's always going to crit, so that's also very viable. Now, in my eyes, if I was allowed to change the stone slot colors, to be honest, what I would actually be running would be either light or reflex, depending if you're really unlucky for a color switch. Then I'd be running SOB, and then I'd run the stone I love the most in the game, Sieving Abyssy. Well, actually, the stone I honestly do love most is Encompassing Soul, but she needs SOB for this to really be OP. So that's kind of what I would be running. It would be a pseudo reflex build with some really high dishing damage. Now, this would technically only require you to reroll a single slot to work to get a dark slot. So it's not that expensive dimension stone wise, but until I see what the new light and dark legends are, I will not throw my dimension stones away. When I see those, and if I really don't like them, I might actually just decide to throw all the dimension stones on rerolling a few colors, and I could make some really cool stuff. Even the goalkeeper, Isilla, she needs a dark stone for the hype, so that's going to be part of what I'm going to change. Now, let's go back on our great friend Beth. So again, Beth has a really cool affection chain with Isilla. So again, as I've been saying, using her in a light team is usually what works best. She has also Mariel, who kind of got buffed decently. If you're running a four line back, a light mid, okay, this is not sounding perfect. A 4-man back that's light, she's actually part of it now. It's usually going to be something like Muriel, Cheetos, Leah, Virgil, and if you don't like Leah, you just replace her by Michael, and it's basically the same idea. I actually saw Michael with updated stones since the color changes, and he was actually really OP, so he might slowly start becoming valuable again. She does have a cool Nemesis chain, I'm going to say. We ignore this one. These two are decently often there. I just don't own Averon, and eventually I'm going to get him. She has a Vito's affection chain. It's not bad, it's not good. Some people use him. If you want it, it's just there. On a skin level, she doesn't have any special skins. I'm going to say I like the first one. I'm not a fan of the second one because it looks like they just like did a tiny difference in the blade. It feels kind of cheap to me, and the base blade just looked nicer. The E skin on the other side is pretty nice. If they ever decide to throw a special skin, I might be interested. Now, what kind of line does she work well with? Well, I kind of already pointed this one out. The light dark legend line works best. We know Metatron just needs to be center mid. Put a Duke who has an affection chain with her, put in a Scylla goalkeeper, and you just got a really nice combo. So that's basically it on how she runs. I'm gonna do a little match of PvP just to show her value. Just do it. Draw first. Yeah, I have the impression the drop rates went down for the leaders and everything on this thing, so that's kind of frustrating. Okay, let's do the PvP. So, oh, nice. Someone trying to help people rank up. So, ironically, I'm not going to be attacking the easiest target. This could be challenging. Let's see what this is. Yeah, that's a decent ass team. Okay. Damn, that's pretty good. But if I beat the mid, I win. Oh, yeah, that should be good. So I'm actually just going to run this on manual just to be sure that she does what she needs to do. So again, this is the reason why I run Metatron A's, but I'm not actually going to do this. If he was to try a steal, he would actually be leaving with the ball. Now, this is kind of annoying here. So she's not as powerful as them, but we really want her to stack actives. And when we're going to go to the front line, it's actually going to be visible the entire value she has. And this is one of the reasons why my non-orthodox builds work. So she was able to penetrate, and as you're going to see here already, they've got a very decent amount of action bar. Penetrate one more time, give them even more action bar. And by doing this, except if you got a really fast front, but when a player is built for speed, he usually can't actually do enough reflex. You're just going to be able to throw all of this before they're able to do anything. And especially if you got a one-hit KO setup, or if you're just lucky elemental-wise, you're going to be able to win this before they can do anything. In this case, I wasn't as lucky, but I'm still winning pretty fast, especially with this. I'm able to stack the Milky Way stacks much faster than they should be. So this is pretty cool to me. And then we do this, we do another pass effect to Vanchi, and it's game over. So the reason why I was able to start in the front and keep it so long is because thanks to Beth, we had a buff, and it also gave a little crit buff to the front line, who was really cool. So I hope this helps people understand exactly what the value of Beth is. She's really in an action bar strategy. If you're going on a pure reflex war build, I would not advise her. I would say more go the Bell path, but as I'm light and dark and I hate Thunder, I will never do that, even if I draw her 15 times. So again, if you have any requests, just leave a comment in the description. I'll see what I can do. And I hope this helps people understand the value of Valkyrja Beth. Have a good day, guys.